What's up, guys? It's Moonie, and I'm the co-host of A Good Laugh podcast.
Hi, and it's your girl, Jess Devereaux here, Moonie's sister and co-host of A Good Laugh podcast. Welcome to the show.
Yes. We're so excited.
Yeah, and we always start A Good Laugh podcast just talking about our weeks and what brought us a good laugh. So, Moonie, what brought you a good laugh this week?
Oh my gosh, Jess, as you know, so part of our story is that, our father, this guy, he was destined to be like the next, like Cliff Huxtable, got a scholarship to medical school at Howard Medical School, fumbled the ball right on the, what is the football terminology?
90-yard line. It's like so close, but so far. But
so close, so far. We were so close to being the next Huxtables, right? But yeah, was it the project didn't get greenlit, right?
Yeah, it got canceled.
It lost funding.
Yeah, during the development phase.
Right?
Yeah.
I have my own theories with what, happened with our dad, like in terms of like
but that's an aside.
Yeah, that's like a whole other thing. But like, anyway, so I'm good for a block. Like exes, you're getting blocked. Like if, obviously if something triggered me, but like I'm good for a block. Like I'm about establishing boundaries. I'm no longer people pleasing because I'm working on myself, right? And when you know better, you do better. So my dad, I'm really good for I'm good at blocking his ass when he wants to act up with me. So I blocked him. Like it's probably been like a year since I blocked him. And then he found me on TikTok. I was like, here we go with this nigga. He found me. So like, like Jess and I were on the phone when I got the notification that he started following me, and I was like, oh, "Let me get in TikTok. I gotta block this dude. Let me block." But then I blocked him, and then I was like, "Cause I'm like a whore for material, right? I'm always looking for like experiences and just life adventures to give me material." And I'm like, "Wait, I don't have any kids, so I need some material." So I'm like, "Let me unblock him for some material." And Jess and I start cracking up over that. Right. And it's just funny. Like,
and then we have this back and forth. You were like, yeah, I mean, he owes me money.
Yeah. I was like, matter of fact, like, let me unblock him. He owes me back child support. Like, I was like, let me send him my Venmo, my Cash App, my Zelle. Be like, boop, doop, 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 doop. This is where you send all the funds to, sir.
It was just perfect timing because we were both on the phone together. And it
was a funny moment. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring that to the stage.
Love it.
Yeah. What brought you a good laugh this week?
Have you ever found like a doppelganger on IG, someone who looks exactly like you?
Sam J.
Well, okay, fair. Sam J. Well, I found this woman and girl, I was in deep. I was like looking at different hairstyles, her makeup. I was like, man, wait, let me check her husband. Is her husband cuter than mine?
Is he Asian?
No, he's a white dude. But it was so funny. I was like, I wonder if other people have this experience where you just find your doppelganger on IG and then you just get in deep. And then before you know it, you're comparing lives. And you're like, damn, like I could have done better for myself. Like, or.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's funny.
It was really
That's funny.
So we are actually going to get into a topic that has come up for both of us, Moonie, a lot, and that's talking about habits.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, what habits are really telling us about who we are. I think that in life, we are definitely told, your thoughts are your thoughts because then they become your actions. Your actions then become habitual and that becomes your habits. Your habits then create your character, right?
One thing I want to add though, after thoughts is feelings.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
a lot of people ignore.
Feelings, the universe's language is feeling. It's energy. That's how the universe speaks to us. That's how we speak to the universe. We're broadcasting feelings and energy. So that's a big one that we have to. So thoughts, feelings, and then there's beliefs, there's identity, actions, your results. I would say.
Yes. And I think sometimes it's framed, at least in the West and the way we grew up, is that if you have poor habits, you are therefore lack a strong character. Like you lack willpower. You have some kind of deficiency.
Deficiency, yes.
And
Yes.
I got this great article from a former therapist of mine. She's amazing. And the headline is essentially, "What if willpower isn't the problem and never was?" And I wanted to bring this up because I think there are so many things that we do subconsciously, um, or that we do that create sort of like cycles of shame. And what the habit is actually doing is trying to regulate something in your nervous system.
And we
So
talked about how we learned what a nervous system is. Like, we know what it is from an intellectual standpoint, but, like, in relation to our lives, like, this year, I realized how much how powerful my nervous system is and how important it is. It's such a key component to the manifestation process, to my evolution, to my growth, to shifting.
percent. And I think it's been ignored because partially just being in the West, but also our family, right? You were not allowed to feel. And when you think about that, you're like, wait, I couldn't feel my feelings. Like that just is absurd, right? That's what they're there for. We're meant to feel them. And the truth is, it never really leaves you, even if you don't acknowledge it. The body keeps the score.
Yes.
The body
Yes.
keeps the score. And what struck me about this article, just going back to it, is she was talking about different habits, right, that we have and how we are regulating through those habits. And the one that stuck out for me was 100% like being overly productive and constantly working, right? And the irony
Busy
of,
being busy.
yeah, being busy, and it's totally rewarded in the society, right? It's this idea like, "Oh, wow, you must be so ambitious. You must just be such a focused individual," right? But what are you really trying to regulate? It's oftentimes a lack of self-worth, right? This need to constantly, like, prove oneself that you're good enough, and I
And it
yeah,
always typically stems from childhood trauma. Like, it's always about little Moonie, little Jess, right? For the most part. And going back and addressing it and holding her hand and saying, "Hey, you're safe now. It's
yes,
gonna be okay. You know, you went through tough times. We're not there anymore. You can come out of the shadows. You can, walk into the light he with your, with a straight posture, with confident. You're worthy, you're enough, you're safe, you're secure. No, you're limitless, you're powerful."
it's somatic therapy for me. I'm in therapy right now, and we do a lot of what they call parts work. And it's beautiful because you basically sit still and you start to visualize different parts of yourself. Like you literally will like meet different iterations of you. And the beauty of it is when you meet that individual who's obviously a part of you, you get to be the mother, the parent that that person needed
Yes.
in that phase. And it takes a lot of trust, right? They have to trust you and you have to show them that, I'm a safe space and they can and you and I am here to be a witness to you, right? Because that's oftentimes why we have so much trauma is because we don't have anyone to witness our pain. And we so desperately need that as individuals.
Right. And also getting out of the loop of victimhood. I mean, at some point, as mommy would say, like, I can't talk about how my mom didn't buy me a bike and didn't buy me a doll after we were in a car accident and she got a settlement and she didn't buy us a doll. Like, at some point, you have to be like, I have to parent myself now. I have to be I have to coach myself now. Like, you've got to give yourself what you didn't have growing up.
And
Go
you talking
back.
Yeah, you talking about victimhood, it reminds me of this, visual you sent me, and it's a side-by-side comparison of someone with, like, a victimhood mentality, and they are in the ocean, and a wave is approaching, like, this huge tidal wave, and the victim is just like, "This is life. The wave is the representative of life, and it's just gonna wash over me," and you can see the pain and the angst and that anticipation in the person's face, and then the side-by-side version is someone who is actually seeing life and these circumstances as potential opportunities, right? And this person is riding the tidal wave and surfing, you know? on the tidal wave. So
I love that you brought that up because that's the power of perspective. That's the power of a reframe. And we are all operating with our own filter, our own perspective, our own POV. Like life is happening for us. And the meaning that we secure from it is all about our perception. You could look at, a fender bender, on your way to the dentist is like, oh my God, this is such a bad thing. However, you have no idea what that little fender bender is preventing down the line from happening. And you could see like, oh, this is such an inconvenience. This is such a pain in the ass. But like you could have just that fender bender could have saved your life. It could have saved the life of your loved one. Who knows? But like we have to learn the power of reframe and shifting our perspective and remembering that life is happening for us, not to us, and seeing the opportunities, finding the silver lining in whatever quote unquote challenge that is before us in the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Love that. It actually reminds me of we were both watching Funny AF, the Kevin Hart comedy competition. And it's a great moment he has with, I can't remember his name right now, South Asian actor. I'm blanking on his name right now. But he was saying that how much he hates comedy competitions, right? Because it's like even the idea of like the Oscars, it's a little ridiculous, like pitting art against art. Like it's such a subjective thing, right? But Kevin was saying, I'm doing this in an effort to actually give people an opportunity. And just because you don't make it to the finals, you don't make it, you're not the winner of this. It doesn't mean you're not winning in some other form. And he talks about all those setbacks, like he didn't get SNL, Soul Plane didn't do well in the box office, all these sort of things that people would say were failures, quote unquote. And he's like, it led me to this place in my life. It allowed me to pivot. It allowed me to grow as a person. So I think that's 100% spot on. Like, life is happening for us.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So going back to this article, right, that you shared, what were some takeaways for you that were impactful?
I think the first that I addressed earlier, just about understanding my overworking and drive and what it's actually regulating for me. And I think being in a family where emotionally there was a lot of neglect, just out of the fact that when you're in an immigrant household, the main criteria is like, do you have food? Do you, are you going to school? I mean, we went to private schools. Like, you're living in a certain home, like the conditions of the home, like it's all very external. Like, if those external needs are met, like that is the main concern, if not the only concern, oftentimes. But emotionally, there was a lot of neglect. And so the way that I was able to find a sense of value, to get attention, was through striving. And that meant, getting good grades, getting the accolades, the AP classes, the going to certain schools. Like it was very much a part of the way I was able to find some sort of validation. And that's a way to regulate, right? Like when you don't have that sense of well-being, you're going to find it in some other form. So that was really enlightening for me. What about you?
Just like examining, like it's reflecting on, how I was growing up. Like I was completely a food addict, like dependent on food. Like I used to hide to eat food, like, because it was a tough environment, like, I mean, we had a great childhood, but, like, mommy was a single mom, and, like, she had so much pressure, and she was an ambitious single mom, she put us in private school, that's extra pressure on her to come up with this money every year for 3 children in private school, right? By herself. She wanted to live in certain neighborhoods, a certain zip code that mattered to her. And so like I'm the firstborn and I look so much like our dad. So here's the like little Harry reminder in her face every day. Like so
And
I became
and traits, like you even mannerisms, like
yes, grimaces, everything. Like so it was like constant reminder of like this guy that I made the wrong choice with, in her mind, at the time. And so there was so much I was her punching bag, like, verbally, sometimes physically, and so it trickled down to me, all of that pressure, and so, like, I developed this habit of using food as a coping mechanism, and it made me feel safe. It made me feel secure. And also, like, as your body like physically manifests from eating so much, like it's a layer of armor from the world. So then I
Mm.
I got in this loop, and because you're no longer seen when you're overweight, you're not seen. And so, like, I felt safe not being seen. So now, like, look at me, look at all these colors. I'm like, hello world, I'm out here, bitch. I'm out. I came out the closet. I'm out with like in my fashion. I'm ready. Moonie is here. Like, you not ready for me? Step aside. I don't care. I'm not here for you. I'm here for me and whoever wants to join me on this wild ride, to becoming the best version of myself moment by moment. And so, like, I'm grateful for that. In a way, you got to be grateful for those hard times because they make you, but you won't get there until you do the work. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love having you here. And if you're enjoying the show, please like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And don't be stingy. Share with your family, friends, coworkers, Uber drivers. And if you can leave us a review, even better. It helps us keep building this incredible community. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get back to the laughs and healing.
And I would also say, like, there's a level of gratitude where you're like, look how smart that part of you was, that little girl was, right?
Hmm.
Here she was being a punching bag. Here I was being neglected. It's like you had to find a way to satisfy like a sense of well-being
To survive.
to survive. Correct.
Yeah.
And that was the food. So instead of looking at it and being like, oh my God, but here's the problem, right, with it
Shaming
too.
ourselves.
We shame ourselves. Exactly. And then you get into this loop,
And then
right?
the loop gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you start thinking, "Well, what's wrong with me?" Right?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I be disciplined like that person who goes to the gym 4 days a week? Why can't I be disciplined like that person, like Becky, who eats salads, for like,
The Becky's at
the
Rye Country
Beckys
Day. Yeah.
the Beckys at Rye Country Day eating Tic Tacs and salads and drinking their Poland Spring waters, right? Like, why can't I be disciplined like that? Like, man, I wish I had weight loss drugs back then. God, Jesus, like,
Be flexing on those hoes.
hell yeah. I'd be killing it. Varsity sports, the chubby kid playing basketball, I would have been the star player. What? Crossovers, breaking ankles. Anyways, right, the shame part, and then the loop gets deeper and deeper and stronger and stronger. And it's what I love about this article is that it reminds you that I have the power. Like, you have to get to the point where you're observing yourself, like step out, zoom out. And I'm learning this because I work with my coach. Shout out to DG Mindset. Love this guy. He's helping me so much in my life, my identity, my character. You got to zoom out in your life and observe yourself, and from a place of gentleness and grace, and we have to get better at asking ourselves better questions. Why do I overeat? It serves something, right? And it serves you, but why do I do it? And what does it serve? Let's really unpack these things. And then once you get to this, not even the root, but the seed, get to the seed of, like, that was their first, when the seed is a thought, like, why do I believe this about myself? Who told me this? And why do I still believe it? Why am I, and then when you realize I have agency in this. There's power in this. I have choice. And so I can make a different choice. And that is everything. That is transcendent. That is enlightening. That is enlightenment. That is transformation. That is growth. That is a game changer right there. And now you can start I'm realizing with the work that I'm doing, like, we're all on our own loops of life. I used to be on the autopilot, the zombie mode, just before I stand up, and this whole big pivot I made with my life. I was on this loop, this dangerous loop, and we're all on these like autopilots, this cruise control, right? So, and it starts with your thoughts. And it starts with your beliefs. Thoughts lead to beliefs. Beliefs lead to your identity. I am, fill in the blank. Whatever that's why I am is so powerful. Then from there, your identity leads to your actions, right? Because then like, if you feel like you're limitless, your actions are going to reflect that. And then from your actions become your reality. And then the reality starts feeding the thoughts again. Right? So then therein lies the loop. So you get to create the loop that you want to see reflected in your life. And so choose a better loop. And what does that start from? It starts with your thoughts, right? You have the power.
So, Moonie, what you're saying sounds incredible, right? This idea that you have this power. We've talked about this before, though. That can terrify people
Yes,
when they
very much so.
really have a sense of their own power, because you are going to have to get off the victim bandwagon. You are going to have to look at things in your life that were hurtful and painful. And I know that there are so many people so afraid to feel because a part of them feels like if you open up those floodgates, they will be overwhelmed with so much emotion, which is why they don't feel. What would you say to those people?
I mean, so, I'm always reading these great books. Like, I'm reading this book right now called Outsmarting Reality. This book is how I started reading the introduction, my nervous system was triggered. I started getting anxiety. I was like, oh my God, I had to put it down.
What was triggering for you?
The enemy is within. The enemy is within. And you know what the enemy is? My ego. What is the ego? The part of me, the lower version part of me, the part of me that's attached to the physical world, the part of me that thinks that I am my body, the part of me that thinks that I am what I see, smell, touch, taste, all of these things. And that has the power. And that it's in survival mode always, and it loves the familiar, and so it's always going to want those things. Like, going back to the victimhood, it's the familiar. If you've got a victimhood loop, your ego is going to fight to keep you in that victimhood loop. And if you don't elevate your conscious awareness and bitch slap that ego and be like, motherfucker, I'm in charge, not you. Okay, so move out the way, get back in that driver's seat, throw that ego in the back, and take control of your life. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's only a lot if you think it's a lot. Like, you've got to remember that you came here in this earth whole. You came in here limitless. You are limitless. You are powerful. You are worthy. You are the highest form of God's creation. And so it's scary because it's unfamiliar. And so once you get in the habit of, it's like the small steps, like it builds momentum, that is what's gonna get you there. Start building the momentum, start being okay with recognizing your personal power. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable because it's new. This
Yeah.
concept is new. So
Yeah.
anything new is gonna feel
There's some
uncomfortable and
grief there
familiar.
too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to kill these older versions that no longer serve you. And if you can have a physical sort of ceremony, like write a letter to yourself, that old version, like make it symbolic. That's what I would recommend people. Like, I remember when I did that for myself, and it was very impactful. I think it's that people feel that way because it's unfamiliar, and it's a muscle.
Yeah.
It's all about strengthening that muscle.
I will say, I think this is where we diverge a bit because I'm less inclined for the killing the enemy, kind of bitch slap energy towards these things.
Right, I have a tough love approach to
Yes.
yeah.
I'm definitely more on my compassion cruise. Like, so where I have struggled when it comes to dealing with parts of myself, specifically what I used to label as my ego, I realized that a lot of these parts are really there to protect me, my vulnerable self, what I would probably call my soul, like the spirit of unconditional love, like that lives in all of us. And what I'm trying to practice more and more is curiosity. And with that curiosity, the same way that I approach my children is not to shame them or blame them or tell them that they need to get out of here. It's more in the sense of, is there a better job for you? Right? Like, because what you've been doing is protecting parts of me that I'm letting you know that it's okay for me to show. And that's like, I mean, I'm getting teary eyed right now because that's that's not easy. That's not easy for them to kind of say, wow, like, there was a part of me I discovered when I was in therapy is an extreme like protector in the sense like it's like my gotta keep moving self, right? Like we gotta keep moving, we gotta keep doing, we gotta keep all this stuff. And it's like, I love that you are this enthusiastic sort of dynamo, but is there something that you could be in charge of that is not, just trying to protect my vulnerable self? And I came to the conclusion, I was like, can you protect my integrity? Can you be that person for me? That part of me that is wildly enthusiastic about making sure that Jessica is being Jess, like she's being authentic in who she is and her integrity and how she moves in the world. Um, Still working on it, but I find that that has helped me face a lot of these big feelings. And when I think I would tell people who are afraid to face these big feelings is that you are going to see how much when what you think is overwhelm, i.e., facing your feelings, it is nothing compared to the energy that you are spending on trying to suppress those feelings. Like there's going to be a payoff. You're going to get like a boost of energy because you're like, I'm going to be overwhelmed by these feelings, but you really are going to actually gain so much energy because you have been spending so much energy pushing the door back, right? Trying to hold back these feelings. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to do the work, wherever you go, there you are. You cannot escape yourself. And is it hard? Yes, but we do hard things. You have to do hard things. Like, I'd rather things be hard now. It's for things to be easier later because if things are easy now, it's going to be hard later. And so you've got to face yourself. You must face yourself. Nothing will change until you face yourself. And if that means going to therapy, journaling, I really love journaling. It's really helps me get out my feelings at the end of the day. I have a few prompts like how did today go? What are the pros? What are the cons? What do you want to work on tomorrow? Just 5-10 minutes. Like we talked about, get the feelings out on the page, like get it out. And so you just like we talked about, like zoom out, like you're observing it, but observing it from and that's what I'm working on because you're really good at tapping into your divine femininity. Like I have this like alpha male type approach, like because that's how we were raised. Like get stuff done. You gotta be good. You gotta be the best. You gotta da da da. And it's like I'm working on the law of receiving, being compassionate with myself, giving myself more grace, like being kinder, more gentler to myself. Cause was, we were raised that way. And that's
We
my
were.
default. Everyone has a default mode. You got to recognize what's your default setting, or there's like like an operating system, like a Mac or Microsoft, whatever. Like we're all operating our own individual subjective operating system. So what's your default mode? Like create a new default mode. So I'm just working on that. So like journaling, meditation, silencing the mind, quieting the ego, like just silence, right? Just so all these different techniques to help you, face yourself.
I would say if my biggest one that has helped me is my hot yoga, like just being in my body and
Hmm.
being very present. There's nothing like heat that just makes you be like, yo, I got to deal with this. Like I'm in it. And yeah, there are times my mind wanders, but it's probably the space that I feel the most like I live in the space,
Hmm. Hmm.
present in that space. Finding what that is for you is key. And if that's too high a bar, I also say just finding joy, like just finding the things that bring you joy because that's going to give you momentum too to be like I want more of this in my life, right? And for you to
Yeah.
get more joy, you got to face some pain. You got to work on the healing.
Yeah. Yeah. And forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others, because forgiveness is for you. It's freedom. It's freedom. 100%.
Yes. So that was really good. I love that we talked about habits, how what they're really telling us about ourselves. And on the next episode, we'll do a deeper dive, just looking into other ways that we can heal ourselves. Of course, we're going to be bringing you tons of laughter and joy and stories. So be sure to check out our next episode. And as we like to say here, the shortest distance between two people is a good laugh.
So let's keep laughing and let's keep connecting, and we'll see you next time on a Good Laugh podcast.